And the Modi government is considering amending the 1994 Waqf Act. Sources have told Times Now that in a cabinet meeting held on Friday, as many as 40 amendments were approved to the Waqf Act. The aim is to curb the unbridled powers of the Waqf boards to declare any property as a Waqf asset and take control of it. Sources say as per those proposed amendments, the claims of properties made by Waqf boards will be mandatorily verified. Similarly, mandatory verification has also been proposed for disputed properties of the Waqf board. The proposed amendments also aim to give representation to women in the Central Waqf Council and state boards to promote inclusivity. Now, the decision to bring these amendments to the 1995 Waqf Act has triggered a political war, with opposition claiming that the government wants to destroy the Waqf board and take over land owned by Waqf. However, government has told Times Now, and sources explained to Times Now, that these fears by opposition are unfounded. They've asserted that the idea behind the amendment is to empower Muslim women and children. Let's listen into the war of words.
मोदी सरकार ये चाह रही है कि पूरे वक्फ बोर्ड की प्रॉपर्टीज को छीन लिया जाए.
It is a long-standing requirement, and I think that reform will give lot of justice to the Muslim women.
या मुसलमान भाइयों को कैसे उनके अधिकारों को छीना जाए.
लॉन्ग पेंडिंग प्रॉब्लम का जो है वो लॉजिकल एंडिंग सोल्यूशन देश के हित में भी है और खुद जो है वक्त के हित में भी है.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Shazia Ilmi, national spokesperson of BJP, joins us. Shazia Ilmi, first question to you. Tehseen Poonawala, of course, continues with us. If this was indeed a long pending reform, why did it take so long?
So I'm just glad it is happening, and I agree with you, it should have happened much earlier, but everything that happens gets mired in politics, and that also politics based on identity. Let me tell you, this has little to do with Islam and Muslims. If I may tell you, Madhav, that whether it's Turkey or Egypt or Sudan or Lebanon or Tunisia, or Saudi Arabia or Oman, there is no provision for a Waqf board doing all this hanky-panky that keeps happening. There is no mention of Waqf even in the Constitution of India. So all those Samvidhan Bachao Party people should know that what the Samvidhan stands for and what it does not. This is some kind of mazhabi zamindari. So zamindari has, there's an abolition of Zamindari Act way back. And but this kind of zamindari continues. So anybody who's making it out to be a fight against Muslims or tussle should know that the maximum claimants and the disputes are between Muslims where this is concerned. Two, most of these bodies are not just unregulated. And let me tell you, there is something very basic I want to tell you, which will give you an idea, Madhav. Please allow me 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes.
No, quickly, please. It's a very limited time.
Let's look at Delhi. Let's look at Delhi Waqf Board. No, but this is important. If I just tell you this, you'll know what I'm talking about. I need not say much more after that. Delhi Waqf Board, Amanatullah was the chairman of the Waqf Board, and he gave details and proof of the former Waqf Board chairman, Harun Yusuf and Mateen Ahmed, the Congress legislators, my Congress party spokespersons, frenemies, against them, as to how 34 bighas of land were given for 25 paisa per acre. Look at this. And then Amanatullah himself was arrested because he accepted bribes to the tune of 4 to 18 crores. So this is what happens in Waqf. It should be for the betterment of a
okay, let Tehseen respond to that. Tehseen, there's huge unbridled corruption. There are consultations that have taken place, the government sources have said, with various members of Muslim community, including judges, intellectuals, wide section of Muslim society, and can we in any way oppose important aspects of the reform, like for instance, representation of women as far as the Waqf boards as well as the state board, central council, etc. are concerned. Tehseen.
First of all, Madhav, let's understand that the BJP, of course, is anti-Muslim. And why is this suddenly coming up right now, the Waqf Act, these so-called amendments? We don't have a bill. We don't know what the amendments are. We're discussing something that there is no knowledge in it. The BJP's niyat was saaf. They would have put the draft out in public domain so you could read it, Madhav. The BJP spokesperson could read it. I could read it, and we could have an informed opinion. But the reason they want to do it is divide society, and they want to take attention away. Now let's take each issue step by step. Who appoints the Waqf board chairperson and other tribunal members? The government, whether it's the central government in the center or the various state governments. Majority of the states have BJP. They are the ones who are appointing. If there's corruption, why isn't there auditing being done? The Waqf Act says that auditing must happen. The Waqf board, state as well as center pay the income tax or have to file the returns. Why isn't that happening? So all of this corruption for the last 10 years, who's making money? The government, at least in the states where BJP is there, in the center where BJP is there. So the BJP is involved in this corruption. The BJP is not going to remove it. All the BJP wants to do is do Hindu-Muslim. If there is anything that the BJP wanted, it would have put out these amendments in public domain so they could have had an informed opinion. But no, they will do nothing about it except rumor mongering.
Okay. Shazi, I want to ask you, and I'm just reading out from this particular act itself, the survey of the Waqf itself talks about the assistant commissioner that can be appointed by the state government, whose duties include giving the details of number of properties which are under Sunni, Shia, its nature, income generated from the properties and land revenues. On the one hand, the government is talking about transparency, but this is very much there under the Chapter 2. What is the limitation that stops the government from acting and enforcing these laws? That already
but is it done? Do you know? Yeah, Madhav, there is a revenue to the tune of 200 crores. We are talking about properties that exceed 9 lakhs. We are talking about 9.5 lakh acres. And imagine how poor the community is. The whole purpose is welfare of the people, the poor, and it's just being used as land mafia. I just told you how the Waqf chairperson and others do this. They don't allow audits to happen. There is no jurisdiction of any law. Forget district court, high court, even Supreme Court cannot adjudicate. So it's just completely like some kind of a
it's not being implemented properly, Tehseen. At the end of the day, you have the AMPLB coming out and opposing. But what are they opposing? They're just opposing verification of properties. If everything is in order, then why oppose the verification?
Wait, Anand. We are getting on two separate issues. We don't know what these amendments are, what this verification thing. We have to go into the details. Let's say what the BJP spokesperson just said on your show. She said, look, the law exists, but it's not being implemented. So if the government is so useless, please resign. Allow us others to run. If it's not being implemented, what stops
she's saying Waqf members don't allow for it to be implemented. There's a slight difference there.
Returns that have to be filed. And who appoints them? The state governments in BJP states, BJP in center. If they don't allow it, kick them out. If the returns are filed and those are not audited by the auditor, go after the chartered accountant. If the income tax returns are not filed, go after them on those things. Can the High Court or the Supreme Court stop that from happening? What?
All right, completely end of this debate. But the last enactment of the Waqf was in 1995 by the PV Narasimha Rao government. The charge has also been that in 2013, these powers of the boards were also amended and perhaps empowered. And perhaps that is the move that is being undone at the moment. Is it all purely political? Is there a larger reform agenda at work here? At the moment, the jury is still out. We'll perhaps have to look at the fine print of the law to take a final call on that aspect. But Shazi Ilmi, Tehseen Poonawalla, thanks so much for joining us this evening.